On Talking with Dr. Donna, we focus on 4 pillars of health to help build a generational health network to end the cycle of premature death in the Black community. I created Talking with Dr. Donna as a way to educate. On Talking with Dr. Donna, we focus on 4 pillars of health to help build a generational health network to end the cycle of premature death in the Black community. I created Talking with Dr. Donna as a way to educate as many people as possible and give accurate information from a trusted physician. Go to Talking with Dr. Donna and get accurate information. And then share that information with your family and friends. And if you like what you see, like my channel and subscribe. Remember, every Thursday, keep your appointment with Dr. Donna. Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank you so much for keeping your appointment tonight. Welcome to Talking with Dr. Donna. Thank you so much again for keeping your appointment. I see you out there. Hello, everybody. It's so good to see you and being prompt with our appointment time. As usual, it's you're waiting on the doctor, right? So thank you again. This is season 4 of Talking with Dr. Donna. And as you know, we are a platform where we are talking about the Generational Health Network. That is what we're doing. Our goal here is to end the cycle of premature death in the Black community here in America and across the diaspora. And you might say, well, what is generational health? Well, I'm so glad you asked. What is generational health? So watch this video. Give you an introduction of generational health. There are 4 pillars to generational health. The first is emotional and mental health. So we talk about the connection between the mind, the body, it's all connected. The second pillar is spiritual health. That is also talking about the connection of the spirit to our bodies, how we feel, and understanding that there is a higher power. And studies show if you believe that there is a higher power, whatever you call that higher power, this is not about religion. It's about the connection to the spirit within each and every one of us. The third pillar is physical health. The fourth pillar is environmental health, and that really focuses in on the importance of our air, the soil, the places where we live, and how that impacts our health. Those are the 4 pillars of generational health, and I'm building a network of organizations and people to help build up each of those pillars, and that end the cycle of premature death in the Black community. No one talks about generational health, the impact that health decisions are made as a child, how in this generation then impacts the next generation. Diabetes passed from mom to child to their child, high blood pressure, cancer. I mean, all of these diseases are generational. I can get them, right? Because all of our genes are either turned on to create disease or turned off. And if I make a change in my dietary habits in particular, because that's probably the biggest place, generational health is important that we start with our children because they have the ability to turn that off so that the next successive generations can be on a path of wellness. Then they can make a change for the next 4 generations. All right, all right. So thank you so much. Again, this is our goal. This is why I do what I do, because I really want to impact the premature death in the Black community. We are at the top of the list of almost every chronic disease in terms of rates and in terms of who dies from it. It's always African Americans and Blacks across the diaspora. So what we do here is look at these 4 pillars of health: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, and environmental. We're going to talk about each of those pillars throughout this season of Talking with Dr. Donna. Again, with the goal of getting you to recognize how each of these pillars impacts your health, and how we can take each one of these pillars and start with our youngest to teach them about their health and how the environment, their spirit, the physical and the environmental impacts their health. We want our babies to be healthy. I want you to be healthy for successive generations to come. So if you are not already a subscriber to Talking with Dr. Donna, I really appreciate it. I just really have 2 asks when I do this show. Number 1 is, if you're not already a subscriber, please go to my YouTube channel, Talking with Dr. Donna, and subscribe. Then hit that bell icon so that you know every single time we go live, which is keeping your appointment. So when do we keep our appointment? Every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. you have an appointment with the doctor. My second ask is that after you watch tonight's episode, that you share it. You share it with your family and your friends and your loved ones, because the information that we give here on Talking with Dr. Donna can help to save your life. So please do share. Those are my 2 asks. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And then secondly, share the information. Don't keep it to yourself. Be smart, and let your family, friends, and loved ones be smart too. Again, if this is your first time, you may not know that I'm live, and so I also chat. So if there's questions that you have about tonight, go ahead and put it in the chat section. Let me know, and I can look on there, see your question, and answer it if I can get to it. Okay? So please do talk with me, interact with me, let me know your questions. All right, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We're wearing pink all month long in honor of breast cancer awareness. It's important that we take care of our breast health. For women, it's important that you do your annual screening with your annual mammogram, that you take care of it, that every month you do your self-breast exam. I have a very personal history of breast cancer in my family. So these are pictures of my grandmother and my 4 aunts. And that's young little Dr. Donna down there in front of my mom. So you're going to see this picture every single Thursday this month in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And that's because I have such a significant history in my family for breast cancer. My Aunt Darlene, who was in the my right, in the kind of paisley shirt with the designs on it. Oh, are those diamonds and spades? She was diagnosed with breast cancer in the 80s, before breast cancer had so many different advents and treatments. She was diagnosed, and when she was diagnosed, it was already at stage 4. So she only lived about a year or 2 after her diagnosis of breast cancer, and then she passed away from breast cancer. My Aunt Leona in the red shirt, my Aunt Leona is a 2-time breast cancer survivor. Now in her late 80s, my aunt had her first bout of breast cancer in one breast, went through the lumpectomy and radiation, and about 5 years later had a recurrence in the other breast. But she was blessed to be able to go through her treatments. She's alive and well and doing very well. And then my mom, who's right in front of me in that dress with the designs on it, my mom was watching a Dr. Oz show, and Dr. Oz was talking about doing self-breast exams. So my mom decided to do her self-breast exam on the spot while watching Dr. Oz. She discovered a lump. She was 75 years old at the time, and everyone was surprised because my mom is the eldest, and her 2 younger sisters had breast cancer, so everyone thought my mom in her mid-70s was not going to develop breast cancer. But at age 75, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And from that lump that she felt herself in her breast. We did the workup and started a treatment plan. Unfortunately, the treatment plan that we had, go back, Elisita. Unfortunately, the treatment plan that we had was the wrong treatment plan, and she was misdiagnosed. The type of breast cancer she had was misdiagnosed. And as a result, we went down the wrong path of treatment, and so her breast cancer metastasized, went all over her body. And 2 years after we thought we had completed all of her treatments, she passed away from breast cancer at the age of 77. So breast cancer awareness is very important to me, and it should be important to you as every woman in your family. You really want to encourage them, no matter the age. As long as you have breasts, you have the risk for developing breast cancer. So never stop doing your breast exams, and never stop getting your screening mammograms, despite the fact that some of our insurers and health plans may say, oh, after the age of 65 or after the age of 70, you don't need a mammogram. Well, I'm here as a witness to tell you that that is not true. You need to fight for your mammogram every single year for as long as you're alive and as long as you're a woman with breasts. Okay? So that is why we're talking about breast cancer awareness again this month. If you want to be in touch with me, I want you to make sure you know you can go to Facebook, you can go to my Instagram page, or again to my YouTube channel. All right, so let's get to talking about tonight's subject. So tonight's subject, you might think this is really not health related, but it is. Because it's important for us to recognize when we are to be ready for disaster. So tonight we're going to talk about, are you ready for a disaster? And it's important because it can be life-saving. So we're going to go through an emergency kit. Now you might be thinking, now why do we need to talk about disasters? Because we have disasters across the United States every single year. Like we have disasters in floods, we have earthquakes, we have fires, we have tornadoes, there are hurricanes, tsunamis, snowstorms, really extreme temperatures in our heat, either really, really hot and really, really cold. And so throughout the United States and throughout the world, we have lots of states of emergency. Here in California, some of the things that we pay attention to, particularly in the Bay Area, would be earthquakes. And we have over 500 earthquakes a year that we can actually feel, but probably 3 times as many that are actually occurring underneath the surface that we're not even aware of. But of the ones that we can feel, that's about 500 earthquakes a year. Now, in Northern California, there's multiple fault lines. I know that for me, I live on a fault line, and the Hayward fault line. And so it's really always kind of top of mind for me about making sure that we as a family are prepared during an earthquake. And I want you to be prepared as well. We know we always have wildfires, and you think, oh, we had to do an emergency evacuation. If that were you and you had to do an emergency evacuation, what would you pick up? Would you be prepared to run out of your house and get into your car and then be able to survive? If you think about the folks who were on Maui with that horrific fire, they didn't have time to grab a whole lot of things. You got to be prepared. So preparation is really important. So tonight, I'm going to talk about preparation for disaster, not because I'm foreseeing some disaster happening, but because we know that disasters do happen, and we do not have a great predictor of those disasters. So tonight, that's what we're going to talk about, okay? So what we're going to do tonight is just really go over your emergency kit. So every single Thursday, second Thursday of Talking with Dr. Donna, we're going to do a safety tip. And because I want you to be really prepared for an emergency. So tonight we're going to go over a safety tip bag. So this is my safety bag. This is what I have in my house. I did a very bright colored backpack because I wanted anybody to be able to grab it. So if we're running out, I can go tell one of my kids, go grab the red backpack in the closet. And I keep mine in the closet where we keep all of our towels. So they're familiar with that closet, and they know in the top shelf, not too high because you want to be able for them to reach it, is this emergency kit. Okay, so that's number one. You want to keep your emergency kit in something that you can easily carry. Okay, so this is a transport. It's a backpack. So in an emergency, I can grab it, throw it on my back, and we're out of the house. Okay, so what's in my trusty dusty handy dandy kit? All right, so there's things that you want to make sure that you have in your kit. And so there's two different types of preparation for emergency. And I'm going to talk tonight solely about the emergency kit, but there's also preparation we're going to talk about in other disasters where it's not necessarily just the kit that you need to have, but things in your household. So water is extremely important, okay? Now, they'll tell you to have water in emergency, enough for at least 1 gallon per person per day is what you should have in your house, okay? So again, per person. So if you got 4 people in the household, you want to make sure that you have 4 gallons per day. And I would say that you want to at least be able to be prepared to have water for at least a week, right? In case of an emergency before, FEMA arrives and Red Cross arrives and fresh water can come in, you want to make sure that you have water. This is really what prompted me to think about doing this series this season, is because a couple weeks ago, for no known reason, it wasn't a power, it wasn't high winds, but anyway, our PG&E cut the water to my house. We didn't know that the water was cut. My daughter was sick, so she was home, and she went to turn on the water, and it was off. So when she called, and she's like, "Mom, we don't have any water." And so I said, "Oh, we'll go, there's water in the garage." And she goes out in the garage, and there was no water. People had been drinking my emergency water supply. And so I thought, oh man, what if this had really been a disaster? We would not have had any water in the house like I thought. Now, I always have my emergency kit. It's been prepared and ready and waiting. Thankfully, we've never had to use it. In over a decade, I've had an emergency kit. But I didn't look at the water. So that made me start thinking about making sure that we're prepared, and made me think, oh, you better go check your emergency kit, because I hadn't done that yet this year, to make sure that everything that's in there, nothing's expired, that everything that we can use in the case of an emergency. Okay, so water, that's the first thing. Now, again, at home, I have bottles of water, big things of water for the family. But in my backpack, where I want to take for the kids, I have this emergency drinking water. It's these little bitty packets. And so I bring lots of these packets. They're in the backpack so that we can use these anytime, and we can easily take water with us should we not be able to stay in our house, where we actually have to leave our house. So water, things that you want to have in your backpack. And again, you want to have enough water for however many people are in your household. So if there's 5 of you, well, 2 little things of water is not going to work, right? Somebody's going to be thirsty. That's not what you want in the case of an emergency. So I make sure that I have plenty of water in my backpack. All right, the next thing I have is food. Now, my brother and I, both my brothers and I, we have this thing where we have lots of food. We buy lots of things. We like Costco. So we have lots of canned foods in our house. But again, if I'm picking up my emergency kit, I'm not going to be able to carry multiple cans of food in my bag. It's going to be too heavy. So in my bag, I have this block of food that I bet is going to be super nasty if I ever need to use it. I'm not even prepared to try it. But I do have this SOS type food from the U.S. Coast Guard. It's this big block of food, really high in protein, high in minerals, and sugar. So should we need to eat off of this block, we can eat off of this block. And the good thing about it is that it stays good for at least 2 years. So when you do your emergency kit, you don't have to redo this block of food. Again, I'm really praying that I never have to actually open this up and eat it, because I'm quite certain that it's disgusting. But it is going to keep us alive, and that's what we want for the first couple of days, all right? So we've got water, we've got some food. All right, so then we want to have a first aid kit. All right, so I have this small little first aid kit that has some Band-Aids in it, some Q-tips, but just a little tiny first aid kit. Again, I'm just trying to keep it in my bag, so we can transport, get out of there, and have some things that we need. So that's the first aid kit. Then we want to do a flashlight. So I have this kind of all-in-one, let me get it out, kind of this all-in-one device that has lots of different things on it, so that I can carry one large thing and have multiple uses. So it has a flashlight, you can see there. It also is a radio, because you may not be able to have reception, so it has the antenna here. I can either crank it to get power, get those biceps and triceps working. You see how I'm giving you some exercise on top of it? But your biceps and triceps, getting that together for that. Or it also has a plug, so I can plug it in and use it if there's electricity. But in the case where there's no electricity, I have the ability to use this. So flashlight, radio, so a transistor radio, and it has the ability to have the crank here, okay? So it can also charge my cell phone. If there's no electricity, there is some, I can connect my cell phone cord to this. And again, no electricity, I can hand crank and get some electricity to charge my phone, as well as listen to the radio to see really what's going on, okay? And I have the flashlight. So all in one. All right, so what's next? So now you also want to make sure that you have some extra batteries, but I don't need one because I have a hand crank. You also want to make sure that you have a whistle. Yes, I'm going by this list here. So I have a whistle, and I have a whistle that I kind of keep everything in my package because, you know, I'm a little anal. I don't like it just sitting out. But I have a whistle, and the whistle that I have also has some string to it. And the reason is because I want to be able to put it around my neck and hold on to it, so that if I'm in a flood and I need to swim, I can throw this around me and it'll stay on me without having to have my hands. My hands can be free to do things while I am still have the whistle to be able to blow for help. It also has a compass on it so that I can know what direction I'm going, because my husband will also tell you I have no sense of direction. So I can only imagine if all my landmarks are gone, I will have no idea where I am. So you want to have a whistle. You also want to have masks. So there's 4 people in my family, so we have these really kind of thick, heavy-duty N95 masks that we can wear in case of a disaster, an emergency. We can put that on and be able to prepare ourselves. We also want to make sure now, you know, we have sanitizer. So I have hand sanitizer to be able to sanitize my hands, to be able to sanitize any equipment I might need so I can sanitize. I also continue to have wipes, because it's important to have wipes. If you need something to wipe something off, you need to wipe something off. You want to wash your face. I know you don't want to use your wet ones necessarily for your face, but in a pinch, they'll work and you'll be fine. Also, medications. It's super, super important if you're on medications that you have medications in here. So what I do at the beginning of the year, I get my little 7-day supply, I throw my medications in, and I leave it, so that at the time, again, for a disaster, I'm not running to my medicine cabinet trying to find my medication. It's not anything I have to think about. I keep medications in here. I also will keep in some Tylenol and some Motrin for the kids, or even for you if you have a headache, and maybe some allergy medicine. I would also throw that in the bag so that you can have that when you're going around. What else do I have in here? I have a backup flashlight so that more than one of us can shine light. I also have some tape, right? Some duct tape in case I need to tape something down, close something off, I have this tape that's prepared for me. And I have a couple of tools, scissors. We always seem to need scissors, right? To cut something, cut through something, cut something in the case of an emergency. So I have a pair of scissors. And then I also will keep in a screwdriver, right? Because it helps. I can put it up to open up something, whatever I might need. So I also carry a screwdriver, okay? So I know that's a lot of stuff in this kit, but it's important because when you have all of these things and you have them in one location, you're able to get out quickly. So I really encourage everyone to have an emergency kit. Now this kit is made by emergencykits.com. Emergencykits.com. They will make a kit for you. You can go to Costco, and Costco has pre-made emergency kits. I think those are great if the kits are pre-made because they have everything that you need in it, and then you can sort of personalize it for yourself. So like the things that I added were not in the kit, but I added things that I know that I would need or that I would want in case of a disaster. Even though this seems like a lot of things, it still makes the bag light enough for me to grab it and anybody in my family to be able to carry it. And it is not so cumbersome that I can't move around with it should I need it. Okay? So that is, I see, what doubles as a weapon? Yeah, the scissors, that's definitely a weapon. And, and this can double as a weapon too. So can your cell phone. Brother Kimbo taught me that. Edge of the phone, pop, somebody's outside somebody's head, okay? So you have all the things you need in your emergency kit, okay? So any questions out there about emergency kit? Good evening, I see y'all. Any questions about your kit? All right, so this is our health tip of the week as well, so you can always go, and this is the source for ready.gov, so you don't have to remember everything that I said and talked about tonight. You can go to ready.gov /kit, and it'll tell you all of the things that I have here in the kit, and again, you can make the kit your own. So I'm really hoping that you take some time. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about my pockets because I have more stuff. I also have emergency blanket. So I keep emergency blankets in here and a waterproof poncho. Again, for flooding or heavy rains, you have these things in your kit. Now again, if you have 4 people in your family, you want to have 4 kits, 4 blankets. You want to be able to protect everybody that's in your family. I also have Kleenex. You always need to have Kleenex. And then in case we're in extreme cold, I also have packs of hand warmers so that we can keep hand warmers and keep ourselves warm. You know, you can put them on your body so that you stay warm should there be an extreme cold event. Okay, so that is the emergency kit. So if you have any questions, you can always again go to ready.gov /kit, get your emergency kit, keep it in your house. Look every year at your kit, make sure nothing's expired, make sure you can rotate out your medications. You should probably use those medications after a year and then put some fresh medications in there, and just continue to make sure that you check it regularly and everything that you need is in your kit. Okay, so that is what our tip of the week is today about being ready for a disaster by having an emergency kit. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's see. In case of an injury, what's the best thing to have? So for injury, so again, I have my first aid kit, which has most of the things that you need for a minor injury. So it has Band-Aids, it has antibiotic ointment, it has gauze. And if you have some tape, which again, I have the tape, it's not the best thing to put this type of tape, this masking tape, onto the wound. But if you have gauze in your first aid kit, you can put the gauze over the wound, and then this will help to make sure it stays on. The key to keeping your wound from getting infected is keeping it clean. So if you are in disaster, you want to keep things covered and try to keep them as clean as possible. All right. Okay? Everybody's going to go make their kit, right? By the end of the weekend, everyone will have their emergency kit, and you'll be ready to go if there is a disaster of any sort, right? Okay, good. And get some water for your house. All right, well, let's go to our food of the month. As you know, every month we have a food of the month, and this month, in honor of breast cancer awareness, we are doing all foods that are pink. So our foods of the month are all pink. Last week we did beets, and so I had a great beet smoothie, and I just forgot to take a picture of it, but it was so good. So really finding ways to incorporate pink foods. But our food of the week for this week is our Carey oranges. And so even though there's an orange, the flesh of that orange is pink. So Carey oranges have a lot of antioxidants, a lot of vitamins. They're red because of the lycopene, and that really helps to battle cancer. It's low in calories, it's sweet. Got lots of vitamin C in it, lots of the B vitamins are in it. It's great for your young women who might be suffering from anemia, or maybe any of our women who are still menstruating. Anemia is always a risk factor, so you want to include things that are going to help you battle any anemia you may have. And they're just very energetic. It can offset any fatigue that you might have and give you some extra energy. So when you're going to the store this week and you're thinking about what kind of fruit, it's a great fall fruit to have oranges. You can slice them, put them in the refrigerator, put them in the freezer. You can add them to drinks to kind of sweeten them up a bit. So Carey oranges as our food of the week, our pink food this week. So if you have any recipes or any use of the Carey orange this week, take a picture, post it on my Instagram page or Facebook page, and let me know how you're eating your Carey oranges and getting in your pink foods this month for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All right, that's it, folks. I'm looking to see if there's any show. Where did I get the food? Okay, so I got the food from the emergencykits.com. When I created this kit, a food was the option, and that's where I got it from. You can also go to camping stores. So any camping stores like REI, they also have this type of food that you can keep, that are long storage, high protein foods that you can keep into your bag. Okay? Any other questions? All right, family project. Very good, Lean. Make a family project by making the emergency kit, and make sure everybody in your family knows where the kit is located. All right, so thank you again for keeping your appointment with the doctor. Remember, I have 2 asks. The first ask is, if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, that you go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Then hit the bell icon so that you know when we go live. And my second ask is that you share this information, this life-saving information, with your family and your friends and your coworkers. All right? So thank you again for keeping your appointment with the doctor. Remember, you have an appointment every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. with the doctor. So until our appointment next week, take good care of yourself, and we'll see you soon. On Talking with Dr. Donna, we focus on 4 pillars of health to help build a generational health network to end the cycle of premature death in the Black community. I created Talking with Dr. Donna as a way to educate as many people as possible and give accurate information from a trusted physician. Go to Talking with Dr. Donna and get accurate information. And then share that information with your family and friends. And if you like what you see, like my channel and subscribe. Remember, every Thursday, keep your appointment with Dr. Donna.